City, Kansas, the Mississippi heavyweight champion, Bob Orton Jr. And in the blue corner, the challenger at 240 pounds, from parts unknown, the masked man known only as Mr. Olympia.
You'll be able to view it right here on Mid-South Wrestling Television. The state championship for Mississippi as Bob Orton Jr. defends his coveted belt against the leading challenger, Mr. Olympia.
Well, I want to say one thing. The state of Mississippi is a great wrestling state. George and Gil Culkin have done a super job of promoting it there. Greenwood, Greenville, Biloxi, Jackson. Smaller towns run occasionally, and it's just become a tremendous area of great nucleus of fans. The fans are really, one thing about Mississippi, they get involved with the athletes and the sport. It becomes almost personal with them. There's still a group of ladies in the Jackson area that are still fans of the Freebirds and write letters constantly to Grizzly Smith and about Fantasia. This is real loyalty, and I really enjoy people that love their sport and stick with the people that they care for, irregardless sometimes of whether they have the popular backing or the popular appeal. I mean, it seems like that everybody has their own favorites, and that's what makes it a great sport. And right here, Mississippi title match, sanctioned by the Mississippi State Athletic Commission. Bob Orton Jr., who has been very successful in defending that title against all comers, using that height and leverage. Against an unknown man here, Mr. Olympia. Certainly a well-conditioned athlete. Orton came out, headlock, Olympia right back into the head scissor. Feeling each other out here. Mr. Olympia coming on top. Bob Orton showing that he's got that tremendous strength. It's belied by that oftentimes the great athletes that have that height, they don't often have all the bulk that goes with it, and they sometimes look on the thin side, and people just don't look at them as strong as, say, a Paul Orndorff or the shorter type muscle structure of Mr. Olympia. These tall athletes, they have that weight and size to go with them. They still are forced to be reckoned with, and that height gives them a great deal of leverage. Via Ernie Ladd, who's not only got the height, but he's got the size and the strength. You saw just earlier on via videotape replay that the Samoans, Avanzika, certainly haven't lost any of that awesome teamwork and that tremendous quickness. He's been both 300 pounds, and without a doubt the Junkyard Dog and Mike George are under attack for their Mid-South tag titles. And next week here on Mid-South Wrestling, they'll meet also a team that's earned top contention in Paul Orndorff and Bob Orton Jr. Here next week will wrestle JYD and Mike George. Knee lift. Mr. Wrestling 2, I guess it almost had the patent on the shortest, quickest knee lift in wrestling. A lot of guys, when they see a great athlete has something going for them, they try to emulate it, and oftentimes they may not get the total effect of it, but it's certainly still a added weapon to their repertoire of technique and moves. Legal break call for it. Mr. Olympia was dreaming of it. He thought Bob Orton Jr. was going to break legal. You got to always protect yourself the moment you go in that ring. Hip toss, drop kick, showing that speed. Wow! Mr. Olympia shows that power in his legs, and he's really pressing the attack and getting on top of Orton. Orton tried to slide out of the ring to take a breather, and Mr. Olympia wisely pulled him back in and continues the attack. There's Orton trying to slide out again. When you got the man going, stay after him, go for the fall like Olympia's doing right now. When they're defensing their back, it's hard for them to think of offense. So that's there, inside cradle. Bob Orton Jr. snaps out of that one. Catch a short shot in the breadbasket there. TV time remaining match. We got 2 standbys, 3 standby matches. The next one, DiBiase and Murdoch against Orndorff and Root. Bob Orton Jr. making Mr. Olympia eat that mat in a hard way. It's legal to kick with the flat of the foot. Clothesline. Bob Orton Jr. seemingly on another successful defense of that title. A lot of stamina on Orton Jr. too. He can take it to the time limit if he's in trouble. One thing about it, when you're the champion, there he goes to that pile driver. Olympia tried to backdrop him out of it. Orton sunset flipped him right over into a fall, but Olympia rolled through and's got Orton in a predictable position. Head scissored out. Orton trying to ride Olympia and hold him down. Olympia sitting out. Body check. Sleeper. Mr. Olympia's caught the sleeper on Bob Orton Jr. It's a legal move. That's when the forearm cuts the blood.
Was a legal move, Bill. A sleeper hold, and it gains the Mississippi heavyweight title.
We've got a new Mississippi champion.
And there you see Jack Al presenting the belt.
Mr. Olympia. The fans are giving him a standing ovation.
Mr. Olympia, the new Mississippi heavyweight state champion. We'll be back with more exciting action after this word from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.